So this is my second step to recovery.
Welcome back to Broken Bobby's transformation page. In the late 80s, I became involved with drugs and would eventually become part of that lifestyle of trafficking, addiction, and violence. Over the next 20 years, I would be in and out of jail and prison. If you're thinking about trying something or you're dealing with addiction, your life don't need to go down the same path mine did. I hurt a lot of people, both physically and emotionally. These are my stories of how I transformed my life, and you can too.
So as guys can see by the title and the thumbnail, this is my second step to recovery. And once again, this is based on the 12 steps of AA and NA. But this is the way I did it. Okay? So before you come after me in the comments about how this isn't the way Dr. Bob and Bill W did it, originally when they came up with it, there was no formula, right? So, you know, what works for one may not work for the other. And this is what worked for me. So, you know, that's the thing. This is my second step to recovery. This is how I did it. If it helps you, that's great. If it's not for you, then that's great too. Everybody finds their recovery in their own way, I think. There's some guidelines that definitely help. And the 12 steps of AA and NA are definitely a great path towards recovery. But this is mine. So before we get into this second step, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Hit that like button, drop a comment, and let me know what you think. Let me know how much sobriety you got, if you've got that. Or even if you're new to sobriety, welcome. You can do it. I did it. Anybody can do it. It's just a matter of, are you ready for it? So, hit that like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that anytime I drop a new video or I go live, which I do on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday nights, typically around 10 p.m. California time. So be sure to join me there as well. Also, share the video. If you think this video might be able to help somebody in their battle with addiction or alcoholism, then definitely share it to them. It, may help somebody. It may save somebody's life. So, also become a member of the channel. That's the best way to support the Broken Bobby's Transformation movement. And all you got to do is hit that join button next to where it says subscribe and pick a tier. And as we grow the memberships, ultimately we will start doing some members only lives where there's not so many trolls in the group. And, we can do some better stuff. I think the lives are still good. I think it's reaching the people that it needs to reach, and I'm grateful for that. So what is the second step to recovery? Okay, so as it says in AA, the second step to recovery is we came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. Okay, so what does that mean? I mean, obviously, we're admitting that there was a certain insanity to our lives, right? As in the first step, where, we admitted we were powerless over our addiction and, that our lives had become unmanageable, basically. So, what is, if our life's unmanageable, then there's a bit of insanity going on. There's no structure and, we're just kind of doing things as we please due to our addiction or our alcoholism. So in this one, my thing with this one was a little tough for me at first for a number of reasons, and I'll explain that. First of all, when you're dealing drugs, as I was, we tend to get a God complex, if you will. Everybody loves the dope man. And, I just thought everybody loved me. And everybody didn't love me. They loved what, the the clavo I was carrying, basically. And, so I came to that realization, and like that took me to a real low. And, I always preach that the thing is, you think these people are your friends. These people merely are people with similar circumstances that, you're getting high buddy, basically, or you're getting high buddies, or you're drinking buddies, or whatever it may, whatever your uh, drug of choice is. That's what the vast majority of these people are. And the sooner you come to that realization, the better, I think. So I had paroled. I went into an in-house residential program, and I started working these steps through the meetings that we went to. And I asked somebody to sponsor me, and he was gracious enough to do so. And basically, I had to determine what my higher power was. Okay. Now, let me explain why. Most people will say it's God, uh, or what, whoever your God is, right? And for me at that time, that didn't apply. Now, let me explain and stick with me on this one, because I don't want to lose you because of my atheist ways of thinking when I first paroled. Okay. I don't think that way anymore. But while incarcerated, occasionally I'd go to they have these things, they're called prayer circles. They're a lot bigger in the county jail than they were in prison. But you'd be surprised how many people come to Jesus when they're looking at a life sentence or something. And I don't mean to make light of that, but it's just the truth, Killers, dope dealers, all these people. I'm not saying everybody in county jail was in the prayer circle, but there were a good handful of gangsters and other types that were. Okay. And, I was one of them at times. I wasn't always in it. I wasn't Christian car or anything like that. But, I there was a lot of uncertainty in front of me. I knew I was going to prison. Had never been there before. And, don't hurt to have the big guy on your side, if you will, and so, I would go to these prayer circles from time to time with, maybe another homeboy or something would join me. And, I was doing that thing. And one of the guys ended up getting released. They called him to roll it up for release. And he basically gave me his Bible and all his literature, his religious literature. And he, I told him, I said, man, homeboy, you should hold on to that. You're going to need that more out there than I do. And because, the thing is, I wasn't really heavy into it, but I would do it from time to time. And the thing is, like, he said, no, go ahead and keep it. He said, I'm about a quarter ounce overweight right now. I'm about to go out and get a motel room and some wild women and a sack of stuff and party it up. And I looked at him and I thought, wow, like, you were basically hiding behind your Bible while you were in here. And, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with being a Christian or a Catholic or a Muslim or whatever your religion of choice is. But I remember my dad telling me when I was a kid, because he was a convict as well. He had done time in Chino back in the early 70s. In fact, my first time being at gunpoint by the cops, I was 13 months old when they raided the pad to come and get my dad. And so he was an old school convict, had done time back in those times, and he never went back either. But one thing he always instilled in me was, if you're going to do the crime, you better be prepared to do the time, and not to snitch and that sort of stuff. But I'm kind of getting off course here, but basically, I made a decision I wasn't going to hide behind my Bible, and I was listening to some other people talk about, all the bad stuff that happens in the world, and I kind of turned my back on God. So when I paroled and I was doing my program, I didn't select God as my higher power that could restore me to sanity. What I selected as my higher power was my family. And now this is a bit of a slippery slope as far as higher powers go, because they always tell you in the program that you need to do it for yourself. You can't do it for anybody else. And I'll tell you at the same time, although they were my higher power, I did it for myself first and foremost, because I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I know it's cliche and you hear it at the meetings, but it's true. And I realized, I came to the realization that if I used in 6 months or less, I'd be in cuffs. And we'd be repeating this whole process all over again. And I'd probably lose my family because, my wife and my daughters were old, getting, they were like high school age already, middle school. So they knew what was going on. Um, and, didn't want to lose that stuff. But at the same time, when you make a person your higher power, they may fail you at some point, and that may be a trigger for a relapse. So you have to be careful with your higher power, and you have to make sure that you're doing this for you, because ultimately you're the one that's going to relapse or not relapse. But you can't let other people's actions dictate your program. So, you got to get you a higher power, whatever it may be, maybe God, like I said, or, however you choose to do that. That's your decision as to who your higher power is and who's going to restore you to sanity. Because ultimately, that's what this step is about. That we came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. And most people go with God in that, in making that selection, which is great. That's a good one, because God won't fail you. Okay, so, that's pretty much my second step and what it was about for me. Ultimately, my higher power would become God. And, I still don't go to church or anything like that. I've gone to church on several occasions. I've tried to get into churches. And the thing about churches are run by men, and men will fail you. Most of the churches that I've gone to and I've liked, they make it so much about money that eventually I would end up walking away from them all. But the thing is, you don't have to go to church to be a Christian. Now, the fellowship is nice, but you can also find fellowship at meetings, at an AA meeting or an NA meeting, or in a lot of other places. It just depends on the foundation that you're creating around you. So, that's basically my second step to recovery. I hope that it helps. And, the thing is, ultimately, you have to take that first step and decide that you are powerless to your addiction. You know, it's at some point, if you're active in your addiction, you're going to get tired of the results that you're getting. Towards the end of my addiction, getting high wasn't even fun anymore, if I'm being perfectly honest. And, you're chasing a high that just, it's not what it used to be. So if, you're going through this and you're at that point where you're ready to make a change, then jump on over, find a meeting. That's a great place to start. Start working on building that new foundation, because the old one ain't working, and come on over to the sobriety side. Like, it's wonderful over here. I mean, the thing is, and I believe I said this in the first step as well. When you get sober, your life don't become perfect. I don't want to mislead anybody in any way about that. That's not what happens. That's what leads a lot of people to relapses, is because they think, well, this isn't so great. The wreckage of your past needs to be cleaned up. It's a lot of work, but what's the alternative? In the meetings they say jails, institutions, and death. I mean, I would rather work on this light bill and maybe a job that I'm not crazy about, but it's a good job. Life still happens. Life is happening on life's terms. And the thing is, we need to turn it over to that higher power, first of all, and figure out what the things that trigger us to want to use, and come up with coping skills to where when these triggers occur, we have a plan in place to where, okay, things aren't going my way. Damn it, I just want to call the Connect and get a sack. Let me go to a meeting. If I've got a sponsor already, let me call my sponsor and talk to him or her and see what they think that I should do, which isn't going to be to call and, cop a sack, So, they may want you to go to a meeting or something, or, they may come and pick you up and go out to lunch and have a conversation to get your mind right so that you don't fall back. But the thing is, if you do fall back, it's just a learning experience. For me, the relapses were chances for me to say, okay, I see where I went wrong there. I won't do that again. And next time X happens, I'm going to do Z, because I know that that's going to take me on a different path and I'll probably have better success. So ultimately, you're putting this tool bag together of things that, the tools that you're going to use in certain situations, and ultimately it will lead you to long-term sobriety. So family, fitness, and freedom are the cornerstones of my sobriety, and I think they can help you as well. My cornerstones don't need to be your cornerstones, though. Whatever works for you. If something's working for you that's a little unorthodox, drop a comment down below so other people can see what worked for you, and maybe it'll work for them as well. Let's help each other out here, guys. We only got one life to live. Let's make the best of it. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope it was helpful. If you liked the video, definitely hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe if you're new. Drop a comment and tell me what you think. Also, hit that notification bell so that when I go live on the weekends and we do our lives, you can tap in and see what's going on, Also, hit that join button and become a member of the channel. Like I said, when we get enough members together, we'll start working on some members only lives to where we can talk about sobriety without all the trolls in the group. So, that's what I got for you guys today. And be sure to share the video. Like I said, the thing is, this could help save somebody's life. Some people may not like it. It may work for some. So that ultimately, that's the goal, is to help people. So, that's my second step to recovery. I hope it was helpful. And don't look at the mountain. Just start climbing.